Black Ops 7 Zombies is obviously out, as you guys can see, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the best settings in the game for everything, both gameplay wise and also just in terms of how to make your game look 10 times better, which, as you guys can see, it looks pretty terrible right now. But with that said, let's not waste any more time and jump over to the settings. So first thing we want to go over to our controller settings. Now here is going to be the stuff you're always going to know about. Your aim assist, put that to whatever you want. That's up to you. And if you're on PlayStation, you can flip your controls here. And if you like controller vibration, you can turn that on or off. I personally hate it. Dead zone too, if you're having stick drift, or you actually use some cool strategies with the left stick where you can actually turn the input dead zone for the long one actually all the way up, and also for your triggers. But we're not doing all that. That's more multiplayer stuff. When it comes to the aiming section of all of this, there really isn't much you want to do here for zombies. The only thing is maybe turn on dynamic. I mean, this doesn't really matter too much. Personally, I just think it feels way better playing with the dynamic setting. And but again, more of a multiplayer thing. But if you like play the game too much like me, you do notice these things even in zombies. The other thing is this, and this is an interesting one. So target aim assist is a thing that works in multiplayer and everything else, but it doesn't work like the other ones don't work in this. This ADS aim assist works only in campaign zombies. This is pretty much the auto aim. Now, personally, I turn this off because this aims at the body of the zombies instead of the head, and I find it to be kind of annoying. And that's why I turn off. But the trade-off for that is that for some reason, when you turn this off, this also breaks Deadshot Daiquiri, so it won't automatically aim at the head when you do buy it, which is not great. But I keep it off just because I just hate before I get Deadshot Daiquiri, because most of the time I don't have Deadshot Daiquiri and it's aiming at the bottom, and I'm missing out on a lot of points and headshots there. So personally, I turn it off. It's up to you. Next thing is movement, and this thing, please, guys. Please turn on this sprint assist. Turn it on. Do not have this off. This will save your controller so much. Ignore this. There's not really a tactical sprint thing, but just turn this on, please, because what this does is that it makes it to where you sprint. You don't have to click your L3 button. You just push forward and it sprints. And let me show you guys. So like I'm not going to do anything except push forward, and I'm sprinting, right? That's all I'm doing is push forward. I don't have to click anymore. So to me, that is so good, and it will save your controllers from breaking and so much stuff like that, which is absolutely amazing. So turn that on. Now, besides that, the only other thing is make sure you have tap to slide on. That's default, so you don't really have to worry about that, but everything else should probably be fine here. The combat side, nothing much that I would recommend changing, except maybe your armor plate behavior, and this just comes down to your personal opinion. I have it to apply all, and what this does is that I hold triangle or Y on my controller once, and it puts on all my plates that I need. So if I need multiple plates, I don't have to hold Y for the first plate, and then the second plate, I don't have to hold triangle again. So that's why I do it. But the trade-off to doing this is that if you just want to put on one plate and then the other plate just like barely damaged and you don't want to do it, you don't have a choice. It's going to do that regardless, and this could end up wasting a lot of plates for you. And there's been a lot of situations, especially if you're going to hit mid-plate, you just keep plating and waste all your plates. And that is a drawback, but it's more convenient. So it's up to you if you guys want the more convenience or the more optimized gameplay-wise. So up to you. I go for the convenience personally. Now, the next thing we're going to jump over to is the graphics. Now, nothing in display we really worried about, but quality, you want to turn all these things off. They just make the game look worse, especially world and motion blur. Don't have those on. Maybe fill the depth is okay. Personally, I don't like it. But then the next thing we want to go over is to our view. Now, all I will say is make sure you put this up a bit, because the default 90 is insane. And I want to show you guys this. So nothing, let's just remove this. Let's put this back to 90. You guys are already seeing in the background how this is zooming in. So this is how it looks by default. This is how your game's gonna look. Brother, do not play on 90, guys. Please don't do that. So what you want to do is you want to bump it up, right? Oh, not interface, graphics. It's up to you what you want to bump it up to. Personally, I just max it out because I think it looks best. You could see more and all that. But the drawback to maxing out in the past was that the gun looked too small to a lot of people, and a lot of things in the distance look too small too. But thankfully, at least one of those have been fixed, because now you could actually put weapon field of view is separate from your regular field of view. Or, I mean, you could always do this, but this was even better because now you can make your gun look bigger. You can see it change in the background. So if you do max out, I do recommend putting on narrow. Now, I guess that's all there is to it. But anyways, the other thing, third person field of view, fine, and you don't really have to just max that out, I guess, if you want to. But this one's nice. Field of view wide, especially now that we have vehicles in zombies. Make sure you have that on wide. But then here's one that is so nice, and this is your camera shake. So this is when anything shakes your camera, from falling from a distance, getting hit, anything like that. Like this is when your camera starts moving around. Now multiplayer, putting it by default, first off, by default it's 100%. Now you want to put this down to 50 for both. I mean, I know you're not going third person that much, but turn down to 50 for both. And this is going to be so nice, especially for multiplayer, but even in zombies, when a zombie hits you, especially when Zursa hits you, your screen is not going to be shaking crazy. So make sure to put this down to at least 50%. And with that, that's everything in the graphics section. And now I want to move over to the interface. Now, these first two things or whatever, tutorials, turn those off. Skip kill cam off. Don't turn that. You gotta watch kill cam. But anyways, you can turn these things off. Your server latency, your clock, your packet loss. If you want those, I don't really care. I don't like seeing things on my screen like that. After this, I will only point this out because it was confusing to me. This has to do with the subtitles, and I couldn't figure out how to turn on the subtitles because we had all this. And it's actually cool what they did here is that you actually drop this down and you can choose which modes you want subtitles in. Because personally, I love subtitles in zombies and campaign, but I hate them in multiplayer and Warzone. So now you can actually just choose which modes you want it on. So this is actually cool. So just hit the square or X and just drop it down. You get to go to all of that. Besides that, everything else is just up to your personal taste here, as usual. But then we have the big one, and this is the HUD. Now, I want to show you how the HUD looks right now. This is how it could look default, and it is atrocious. Now, first things first, what you could do is actually change the theme, because that's just the multiplayer HUD right there. So first off, you could go over here and you could change it. You guys can see this happen. Turn it from standard down here to Ethereum. And right there, it looks a lot better, right? That's already great. But on top of that, you could change your layout here. And I normally just keep it on classic, but I think in this game, I mean on standard, but I think in this game, I'm moving over to classic. I kind of like it like this, and I think it still looks a lot better. So I'm moving to classic. You choose any of these that you want, obviously. This vertical one, where's the vertical one? This is the central, wait, there's like a portrait one. This is so weird. But anyways, I'm just moving to classic for this year. But even if you do this, it still looks like there's way too much stuff going on. And that's where it actually gets a lot better, because there's a lot of things we could still turn off with our interface. So, and it's a bit confusing where you do it because, you know, there's a lot of, like, you would think it'd just be somewhere here, right? Just anywhere here. But where you actually change off the things on your HUD is actually through these two things here. So you want to go over them, hit square, X, or whatever. And here you could turn off whatever you want. Turn off your minimap, turn off the compass. Mission tracker, which is those little stars on your screen. Like, see the star tell you where to go. And the thing at the top left corner, as you guys can see. Like, if you don't like that stuff, you just go over to interface and you can turn it off. And keep in mind, there's a glitch in the game right now. As you guys see, even though I turned off all those things, they turn back on. So make sure you turn off everything right away, because for some reason they turn back on every time you open this section of the menu. So turn off that, turn off compass, score streak widget, which is cool. Mission tracker got to go off. Gobble gums, I'm actually kind of curious how that looks. Like, how do you activate your gobble gums? Squad widget, no, you want that on, perks and all that, which is nice. But then there's even more in here. So you want to turn, so players and streak, you want medals and notifications. I wish you could just turn off medals and keep notifications on, because I want to know when I complete different challenges, but whatever. And then unfortunately, the score feed when you're killing zombies pops up on the middle of your screen still, and because of that, I just turn all of these things off because I'd rather just not see those. And so remember what I just showed you at the start of that. Now compare that to the HUD now. Looks 10 trillion times better and smoother. I just like that. And yeah, so there's all of that. So that can make your HUD look 10 trillion times better. I recommend doing that. But there's other things here you could turn off. There's a zombie health bar. Personally, I like it. You can turn it on and off. There's a zombie damage numbers. I like it. I don't turn it off. There's, you know, the repeat of the compass and minimap rotation, whatever. There's pack punch cameras you can turn on and off. There's the crosshair lines, the crosshair dots, and crosshair opacity. You can change the color of your crosshair. And the hit markers, if you want those on and off. I know some people don't like hit markers because OG zombies didn't have hit markers. I personally like them just so I can confirm when I'm hitting a critical hit or not. But it's up to you. But everything else is pretty much as you would expect. But with that, that should be all of the best settings that you need to use. And look at that, it actually turned my HUD back. So again, don't open your graphics settings after you set your graphics settings, because for some reason, or your interface settings after you set it, because for some reason it's glitched right now. It just keeps turning them on and off, which is so annoying. So let me turn all of that stuff off. Mission tracker, gobblegum. Actually, I want to test the gobblegums real quick for you guys, but okay, that's fine. And then metals notification score for you, and so now it looks a lot better. Actually, what happens if I wanted to activate a gobblegum though? How do I know I'm activating a gobblegum? Okay, maybe don't turn the gobblegum widget off, because I thought they would just pop up on screen when you needed them, but I guess not, and this is going to glitch everything out again. So again, it's glitched right now. You won't have to do this every time. It's just every time you open this part of the menu. If you just stay away from the graphics setting, it will save it, but for some reason right now it is glitched, unfortunately. Okay, but everything else I think we want on. So yeah, there we go. It's a lot better looking right now. I think we all agree this makes it look a lot better, and it's going to play a lot better. So either way though, that's everything to make the game feel as best possible. So let me know if this was helpful to you by dropping a like, subscribe, bell, share, any of that great stuff. But with that said, I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.